Whew, thank goodness you're here.
Can they hear you?
Can you guys hear me out there? All right.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Since my term is winding down, I'm sure everyone knows who I am by now. I'm Piero Simone, president of the Alumni Association. Thank you for being here tonight. We are supposed to be having some really yucky weather later on to continue the yucky day that we've had all day today. So we'll try our best to move the meeting along quickly so we won't be here too long. But if for some reason the tornado does come through and we're stuck in here, Diane promised us that we can drink a lot of the booze that was donated. So thank you, Diane, for being such a team player there. Appreciate that. Let's get started with our standard housekeeping items. The meeting is recorded. Please keep your microphones muted unless you have a question, and then please let us know. Everyone in the room, keep eating. Tonight we do have Mexican food. It's a mix-up from the other food we've had. It's very, very good. And enjoy some food, and feel free to get up and get more as we're speaking. So unfortunately tonight, Dean Sacker could not be here tonight. He had another engagement, another meeting last minute. I believe this is the first time that he has not been able to attend. So we want to thank him very much for all the support and always updating us with what's happening with the School of Medicine. So thank you very much, Dean Sacker. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Chadwell, Senior Associate Dean of Students and Undergraduate Medical Education Initiatives. Because so much of our efforts revolve around student support, we've offered Dr. Chadwell a permanent spot on our agenda so she can keep us updated on the many facets of student affairs. She will not be with us in person tonight because she is in a wonderfully sunny place, not like Michigan today. So she's going to be with us virtually on the screen.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
Instead of being a yucky day, it's been an absolutely beautiful day here in Florida. But thank you for having me. And I just want to extend my congratulations to you, Dr. Simone, on your daughter's match, who's one of our fourth-year students, which is wonderful to see. And I'm here to share the very happy news with the alumni board here today, which you've probably already seen. I think I share it with you by email right after the match, but basically we're going to share some detailed information about our match rate with our class of 25, which was not this last Friday, but the one before that. And we'll go over some of those details with you, but it was quite a I call it March Madness. March is quite a month in student affairs because we have the match for our seniors, and then we have our rising year threes, and we had the clinician ceremony for them. That's the capstone event for that class going into clerkships. And both events have a huge tie-in to this alumni board and to all the support that was garnered throughout their years, especially the senior class. So just a quick snapshot, we have, over 20 specialties that were matched into. Typically it's between like 21 and 25 different specialties. This year, I think it was 23 exactly. So all of your support for all those specialty lunches, remember all those things that you support, those, meeting the physicians and talking with them and connecting, supporting our student interest groups in all the various specialties so that students can explore their career opportunities in medicine. So all of that I see as a big, point really where it comes to culmination and fruition on that match day, which is so hugely celebratory. So that was just a big thank you to all of you. Dr. Sarkis is going to share the details. He's our director of career advising. We've worked very closely, and he will share the statistics with you in person there. The other thing I just want to extend thank you for is the fact that you have so strongly embraced our Wayne Trained initiative. Dr. Gainier presented that, I believe, last meeting. And that is something we've been very diligently working on, and we hope to continue in the future. We have plans for that. And I understand that you are looking at making that, formalized in the budget. And that is going to be a humongous initiative that's going to move forward with that support. So thank you again for everything. And I will now turn it over, unless there are any questions, to Dr. K.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Margaret. Great day for those of you that attended. I mean, it was a really wonderful match and a great location. And really glad that we can do it in such a great site. So I'm going to go over the stats. If you were there, I had to cut this short, because we were running low on time. So hopefully I can get through these slides without being, having somebody bring the hook out. All right, so let's see here. What's going on? Is this, oh, I just have to go down like that. Okay, that's fine. I'll just go like this. Yeah, I'll go like this. I just thought it would go through. I thought a slideshow. That's okay. So we had, it's one of our larger classes, 309 this year. And then 308 matched. So we still are working with that person to get a position. But that's pretty impressive numbers. Now, we did have 6 others that did not match, but they committed to research positions. So those actually come out of the match statistics. So maybe there's a little bit of, gerrymandering with the numbers, but those folks did get 6 research positions, and they'll reapply the following year as well. But that comes out of our stats. Which brings us to, drum roll, 99.4% match rate. Okay, so very good year again. So just on some statistics nationally, the national match rate is 93.5 for U.S. allopathic schools, and that's including the SOAP. Okay, that's the total match rate is 93.5%. And then so that leaves 6.5% unmatched. Our couples match rate nationally is 93.2. We had 100% match rate for couples this year, so really impressive. We came close last year too. We did have one couple that did not, have successful match. One partner did, the other didn't. But we've had 100% match rate with couples for a few years now, so that's very impressive, considering all the permutations. And one couple I talked to, they both got their first choice, which is like amazing. In a couples match, for them both to get their first choice is phenomenal. And then if you look at the trends, so nationally, it's, been usually 94, 93%. We've consistently been above that. We're 98% going back to 2018, okay? Which is coincidentally when I started, just saying. No, just kidding, just kidding. But you see, we've done very well compared to the national average. And then here's a ranking of percent of our match class that matches in the state of Michigan, which is also very important to our governor, I'm sure, and main campus, like how many people actually stay in state and how many go out of state because of public funds. So that brings our 9-year match rate to over 98%, like if you think about it. So pretty high. So a little bit of information about the SOAP. So in years past, we start off with like 92.5, 93% match to begin with, which is kind of close to where the national average is already. And then we place the rest of the people in SOAP. So looking back, 4.6 in 2022, 7%, 7.8% last year. And then this year we had 4.5% of our participants matched through SOAP. Okay. And that's how we came to our highest numbers that we have. And that's a pretty busy week. We start on Monday and we are there putting in time through the entire week, working with our students, making phone calls, advocating for them, and, trying to get them a spot. This year, just so you know by the numbers, how many people applied, and you can just see over the years since 2021, a number of PGY1 positions are growing. So there are more positions each year, but there's also more applicants, and I'll show you that in a second. And then there's PGY2 positions as well, which are those advanced positions. So like anesthesia and other positions that have advanced work. So for those 40,000 positions, 20,000 US seniors participated in the match this year. Okay, 20,864, and that's been growing, sort of been stable, but did have a jump from last year. Again, so that's US allopathic applicants, all right? The remainder of the applicants, there were over 47,000 applicants in general that applied. So that includes the US allopathic osteopathic, and international medical grads. So that gets you to that 47,000 applicants for 43,000 total residency positions in the country. Okay. And then just nationally, just looking at the ranks. So, back in 2017, about 60% of the residencies were populated with American grads, and now it's down to 48.5%. So I think, I think just the number of positions are growing, and there's, allopathic medical schools are relatively flat. There's not very many of new ones being established. And I think, we're still seeing an influx of osteopathic candidates and international medical grads applying for the same positions. And that's a reflection of that. All right, so now to our Wayne State statistics. We had 50.2% match in the state of Michigan this year. And if you look, that's pretty consistent. We're always about 50% in state, 50% out of state, some years more, some years less. But, that's kind of, I think, behooves us. We graduate more people that work in the state of Michigan than any other medical school, right? So that's really important. And then 33.1% matched into primary care, and so a third of the class is primary care, and they categorize that as family medicine, internal medicine, EM, IM, peds, med peds, et cetera. You see the whole list here. Okay. And in spite of me writing a lot of blood pressure medications, emergency medicine is not primary care. Okay. All right. So there were 13 Michigan hospital systems that were represented in the match. The biggest number that matched was the Henry Ford Ascension system. Now, this is maybe once again, some interesting statistical, numbers to kind of crunch, because it's a joint system now. So I think it'll be a little bit, to get more granular, we probably have to figure out which ones went to Henry Ford, programs, and which ones went to the Ascension programs, if we really wanted to do that. But that's why it's such a big jump. So in years past, it's always been about 28, 30 students go to Henry Ford, maybe about another 20 or more will end up at the Ascension sites. DMC actually had a big jump. So we're usually at 13 or 16, and this year we had 28. And I think that's quite a few people staying in state, wanted to stay local, which is good for our programs. Corewell 27, and that's an increase. And that's probably, once again, I think over, because 2023 it was 16, but then they merged and got bigger. And so all those programs in Grand Rapids and et cetera are included in Corewell. So I think that's our numbers. But this one is always surprising. Big number matching at University of Michigan hospital systems. And that one's just U of M, right? That's not, you can't fudge that number. And then Trinity Health, we had 10 match. So those are the big players. And it's always been these five have been the big match that we have had every year. The states, we have over 30 states people match to this year. The top, obviously, number one is Michigan, but the next highest is California with 26. And we have a lot of California, we have a lot of California grads here in our medical school, and then Illinois, Ohio, and then New York. So the East Coast is represented as well. And this has been the same top 5 states for the last several years. All right, now specialties. So over 23, like Dr. Chadwell said, over 23 specialties were represented. We've had a really big year for internal medicine this year, 58. That's probably the largest cohort we've had in medicine. But medicine has always been the top specialty people match into here at Wayne. And it has been for the last, several years. Emergency medicine always had the second position behind them, and for probably like the last 12 years. This year we got knocked off our pedestal by anesthesia. So anesthesia is 25, and then surgery was 24. So those are our top 3 specialties this year. So it definitely shows a shift. It used to be IM, EM, and family were the big 3 at Wayne. 1 year, I think last year, psych took us over from second place. So yeah, there you go. So that was and you're gonna see there's a lot of people that matched in psych again. So I'm gonna show you all the stats here. So we see, the big 3 here, internal medicine, anesthesia, and you can look at the numbers comparatively from year to year, but psych, 22 matched this year. Oh, that's right. 2022 was the year we had 23, and that was the big year. Family, pretty flat increase from last year, and that's pretty good. Peds, we have a good number of pediatric people. OB-GYN, this is the really impressive one. This is a really competitive year for OBGYN. And I would say a majority of the people matched this year. I think we had one that was not and needed a soap, but that's really, really good competitive, considering a very competitive year. OBGYN had a lot of new changes in the application. They had a new application service. They also had new signaling where they could put preferences for their residency program. So they all subsequently had fewer interviews than you would expect. So people were panicked, emailing me that, oh my gosh, I only got 9 interviews. And I was telling them, that's actually pretty good. You're going to be okay, right? And then diagnostic radiology, emergency medicine, and then ortho, pretty good. Optho, this is always impressive, 9, and urology 8, which is, once again, a very big year for these subspecialties, and then 4 in derm. And then you can see these other ones: pathology, ENT, med peds, neurosurgery, et cetera. Okay. So just at a glance, so you can kind of see, and this has been shared with you guys. And then here's the predominance of states. So you can see where most of our candidates have matched. Quite a few along the East Coast, if you look at all these states along here and along with New York State. But, a big thing here in Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Midwest is very well represented. Not a lot going on out here in like Idaho or those places, Wyoming or Colorado, but we've had students even actually match, and here's one person match in Hawaii. Okay. Yeah. So nice spot. Yeah. California is always, it's like usually our second after Michigan. California is always the number 2 spot. Yeah. So really you can see it's just a lot of geographic diversity. I mean, a lot here in Michigan, but a lot of out of state, and you can see across the country, which I think is great. And I think the Alumni Network really did help with this. We had a lot of people that reached out on behalf of students. They all had places to interview and maybe crash on couches. But I think we in Student Affairs are very appreciative of everything the Alumni Association does, providing funding, support, career advising, everything else that goes on. We really do appreciate that, and it culminated in our 99.4% match. So it's always Dr. Chapel takes a photo with the match rate. We did have that 100% a couple of years ago, and everybody's shooting for me to get that 100%, but 99.4 is pretty good, especially for a class this size. And that's it. Any questions on this information? No.
Sarkis, could I add a couple things?
Yes, please.
The Hawaii match, just if people are interested, that was a military match. So there's a military base there. So that kind of explains that one. For OB-GYN, you mentioned how competitive that process was, and it certainly really was this year. We had 20 applicants in the RCAS, Residency Common Application System, which was the brand new service. We had one student that did not match in OB-GYN, and there were a few that had some dual applications, but pretty much everybody matched except the one student that really kind of put eggs in that one basket, but did very well. Actually, was very, very happy with the outcome of the SOAP. Got a very, very good position. And so there were 600, just for context, there were 600 people left out in the cold for OB-GYN. And so if you can imagine that, so we had an amazing match in that particular specialty for this first go around. And it was quite a ride. It was like all of us trying to figure out how this whole thing worked and trying to advise students in that. So that worked out well. I also want to say just a couple things about the research positions, because there are very there are rules that we used for the match statistics that are so that we're comparing apples to apples every single year. So we don't, it's very specific how we count the numbers for the match and what counts as a match and what counts into the overall percentage. So students, yes, there were 2 students left over who wanted to get something, who ended up not getting something in the match. And we're working with both of them. One of them decided to do a research year. The other student is looking for a position. The other research years for the students who essentially their research students who are doing a research fellowship postgraduate, they are going to reapply. And that was by their choice. They did not exhaust their match opportunity, if you will. So I just want to make sure, because I know this meeting is being recorded, I want to make sure that's very, very clear. We're meticulous about our numbers, and they have to be absolutely accurate because I report them to the LCME each and every year, and that request has already come to me. So I just want everybody to be very assured that that is, how our numbers actually, how that all comes to that final overarching number.
Yeah, thanks, Margaret. And then Scott Rousseau. his
Yeah, I
hand
was
up.
wondering if, thank you for your presentation. I was wondering if you could tell me how many people matched in West Michigan?
West Michigan, I don't know if, Margaret, I'm not sure if I have.
We'd have to look. We can find that, we can find that out for you. We can look at that, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If you want, you can email me and we can look at that once we figure out all of our match sites.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Good question. All right, who else? Happy to turn it over.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chadwell, Dr. K. I can't even imagine all the work that goes into having such amazing match results like that. So thank you very much. It really, really is amazing. And we did get an email, all of us on the executive board got emails showing where all the students did match. And it's just, you read through it and it gives you chills. It's insane where all these students go. It's really amazing. All right, we're gonna move on with the meeting. I get to do my favorite part. I love doing that. So we're gonna go on with the approval of the minutes. Can I have a vote to approve the February 5th meeting minutes? Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. We were fortunate that once again, had several extremely qualified and enthusiastic candidates submit nominations for the available board positions for the 2025-2026 year. The executive committee reviewed the submissions and made their selections, and Diane met with each candidate to review board responsibilities and confirm their commitment to serve. I am pleased to report that all of the candidates accepted the nomination and are anxious to begin working with the board. The slate was emailed with the meeting notices and is displayed on the screen. For board members who are attending virtually, please unmute yourself now for a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Great, we'll approve all the candidates. The slate is approved. Thank you very, very much. We look forward to welcoming the new members and thanking the outgoing members for their dedicated service at the board reception on June 4th. Okay, attached to the board meeting notices was the proposed 2026-2028 allocation plans for funds raised through the Medical Alumni Annual Fund that the executive committee approved. I trust you took the time to review all of these important documents. The funding priorities and associated percentages were determined in close partnership with the Office of Student Affairs. The two main differences between this proposed allocation plan and the previous one are, number one, we've aligned support with the Wayne Trained Program rather than designated money for each area separately. Number two, because of the impactful work of our graduate students, we've increased graduate support from 5% to 8%. Are there any questions about that? Can I have a motion to approve the allocation plan? Motion, is there a second? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, great. The plan is approved. I will now ask Dr. Harold to come up to give our treasurer's report and the annual fund report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm always a little short up here. So Diane did ask me just to talk about admissions briefly. So, we are very, very busy. We are still in the those of the admission season. Admission season is very, very long. So we have a lot of students who are on our alternate list, and that is not a bad list. It's just the alternate list. So we are using that list to fill our class. So if you have a child or a cousin or something like that on alternate list, it's not a bad list, okay? I will talk about the financial report now. As you know, the great things we do for these students, we see match day, we see, white coat ceremony, all these things. These are paid for by or supported by this organization. So we need to really make sure that we are raising enough funds to help support all those wonderful things that we do for our students. So the balance as of January 31st was $8,364.71. Total income was $13,520.77. And total disbursements were $8,129.78, leaving a balance. We add the holdover from the class of 23s to $11,361.43. We look at the, we can go to the annual fund update. So this is, where we really need to work probably a little bit harder. So 6 months into the fiscal year 2025, we are running 3% behind the same time last year in terms of dollars raised and 22% behind in terms of donors. So, let's, reminding your classmates, remind your friends who went to this school, we need to have more donors. We need to have more people getting involved. And they just get, we were cheerleading over here. Thank you very much. Okay. So yeah, please keep reminding people, sometimes sometimes a call or we see them in the hallway, they went to Wayne, hey, have you given back to Wayne, your alumni organization yet? Yeah, just give them Diane, or give them Lisa's number, give them somebody's number, like just send $100. That's all we want is $100. More if you have it, but yeah, we got to keep selling our school because it's so important. You see, every class we have more class students in the class, so we really want to be able to offer them the same things that we've been doing. Okay. Some items, upcoming things that are upcoming. Lauren Christilov, the School of Medicine's new senior leadership individual giving officer, has hit the ground running and has already begun to secure gifts ranging from $1,000 to $25,000. So if anybody wants to make a pledge for $1,000 for her today, that really will help her out a lot too. Medical Alumni Association Board of Governors Giving Day Match Gift is coming soon. We are incredibly grateful for the generosity of this board members who have donated a combined total of $70,000 to the Medical Alumni Annual Fund. So great job, everybody. Very proud of you all. So your generous support will be used as a match to leverage additional donors on Giving Day, which is April 10th. So as we can tell them, we had $70,000 from this board, which is only us few people. So if we need our classmates, our alumni, and everybody else to come in and give some more money. If Lauren want to come up and talk about Giving Day. Okay, let's talk about Giving Day.
Let's talk about Giving Day, absolutely. I'll keep it quick because I know we have an agenda to stick to and the weather's getting, but yeah, Giving Day is a week from tomorrow. So I am going to be doing some soliciting of our alums. Piero recorded a video for me tonight to be able to send out to our alums. I'm going to be reaching out to probably 500 or 600 different alums. I'm encouraging them to make a gift to support the annual fund. We have that match that you guys are so graciously doing, and I'll be pushing that out through the day and really encouraging people to get us every dollar matched essentially. And then I'm hoping we're going to get a few other larger gifts. We still have time to add to that 70,000. Diane and I really wanted to get it to 75. So if anybody is feeling compelled to kind of push us over, we would absolutely love that because some of the other units are starting to catch up to us in terms of who is going to be raising the most money. Exactly. We're shaking our heads no. So I am always available to help facilitate any gifts you guys need, even outside of Giving Day as well. Some of you are going to be getting emails from me about meeting for lunch or talking about your support of the annual fund. We just really want to get that donor count up and get us, ahead so we can really do well for those allocations for that entire plan. So you guys should know me by now, but Lauren, and if you have any questions, I can help with your giving. So Giving Day is 1 week. Be on the lookout for emails and share with your network and your classmates. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thanks, Lauren. So donations from the reunion class appeal and the White Coat sponsorship appeal have begun to come in. Upcoming appeals include the spring appeal and the fiscal year end appeal. Alumni appreciation calls by medical students continue. This is an important component of our stewardship effort. You know, those calls are so important. You know, when you get a call from a student as an alumni, it's a conversation. And sometimes you talk about, you know, your specialty, how you were in medical school. So that not only do we give our money, but we give our time and our thoughts and our care. So they really appreciate that. So continue to do that when they make that call. And maybe give them a little extra money too. Say, yeah, just for lunch one day, right? Okay. So your contributions have just been amazing. I just want to just really, again, thank you all for what you do. This is, you know, extremely important for the school. And people who do interviews, you know, when, you know, the candidates we interview, they always ask us, you know, what's the best part of your school? And I go, you know, our students and our alumni, you know, because we are that warrior family. So keep giving, keep doing what we're doing, and let's raise some more money for these students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Harold. Okay, we're going to move on to reunion update. Rhonda Marver is in Florida, hanging out in the wonderful weather also, so I'm going to give her a report. We're only 3 weeks away from reunion weekend. What? 3 weeks away. We have a lot of amazing things planned in your packet tonight. You can kind of read through what we have. Friday evening, there's going to be a wonderful reception in Scott Hall. I noticed it's been remodeled, revamped. It looks nicer in there, so that's awesome. Saturday, we have a wonderful morning of CME events. You can see all the different talks that we're going to have, learn a bunch of amazing things. And of course, there's a tour of the medical school. Then the evening is our gala. Sunday, we have wonderful events on Sunday, bus tour, and I believe there's a Tigers game, and there's some other really cool things going on too. So please, everyone, please get involved, reach out to your fellow alumni. It's a wonderful evening. It's a lot of fun. There's a silent auction, all kinds of things. For everyone who brought the gifts for tonight for the auction, thank you very much. There's still time to bring more things in, or you can reach out to Lisa to do those things. And it's a wonderful weekend. Make sure everyone gets involved. Okay, our next report, membership report. Dr. Peter Dews will be doing it from home, and I give the microphone to Dr. Dews.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry I couldn't be there. I'm at home with cough and fever and conjunctivitis. So if I'd come and yucked it up with you guys over food, it would have been a different kind of contagious laughter. So the report should be on the screen. Yes. We continue working towards our fiscal year goal, 24-25 membership goals. There have been a number of solicitations, recent solicitations of past members who've allowed their membership to lapse. Letters were sent at the beginning of January to over 1,400 alumni. The email that was sent was followed by a membership mailing on March 1st to all alumni who did not renew through email solicitation. And those memberships are beginning to arrive via return mail, and hopefully will continue to increase paid members for the year. We're continue to target reunion classes with a discounted life membership offers. We really would love to get more life memberships. Reunion classes have been offered a discounted price on life membership for $600 instead of $1,000. Reunion classes have already been solicited in October, in the October membership appeal, as well as their reunion mailings. So in terms of the numbers, this year compared to last year, we're down a little bit. We're down $8,815 in terms of membership contributions, and we're also down 52 members from this time last year. So hopefully these solicitations that we've been putting out will pay some dividends. There have been a couple of people that I've run into that have committed and I think took some action. I have to confirm whether they were already members or whether they were new members. So like Dr. Harold was saying, we have to use our networks. In terms of additional solicitations. Another round of email and mail membership solicitations will be sent early summer to encourage alumni engagement through the Alumni Association. So our continued goal from fiscal year 23-24, new membership rewards offer. We're still looking for a partner so that we can offer some new benefits to offer members of the Alumni Association. We are comparing what we offer to other medical alumni associations as well as searching for reward companies to offer the best options possible. And as always, if you have any ideas or hear any reputable companies, please email them to the alumni office. So that concludes the report. I don't know if anybody has any questions. If not, I'll turn it back over to the staff and we can continue with the next agenda item. Thank you, Dr. Simone.
Thank you, Dr. Dews. Thank you very much. Next will be special projects report. Dr. Brazel will give our report.
Hello, everyone. So the report's on the screen. The Future Docs event was March 8th, one of the highly successful ones. It was attended by 344 children and 273 adults. The new workshops were very successful. Participants really enjoyed them. Survey went out for future suggestions, and the only one that came up with the event should be longer. And I attended it before. It is so wonderful. Alumni Voices event in medicine was March 19 by doctors Dimitrijeski, Green, and Bach. The Zoom is actually on the website. The MBA benefits of combining medicine, science, and business administration. The webinar is scheduled for May 13th. There will be ongoing advertising for this. Registration will be posted soon. If you have any other ideas for alumni voices, submit them to Diane or Sydney. The alumni student engagement programs, the medical specialty luncheons and webinars. There's been some low turnout, so efforts will be made to advertise it more, especially with the opportunity of new students coming in. If you're interested in hosting any of these, it can be in person or virtual. Contact Sydney and her email address is there. Of course, we're still trying to do shadowing, dinner with Doc, and host admission interviews. If you'd like to volunteer, again, contact Sydney. Any questions? Right.
Thank you very much for your report. On to the graduate students, the PhD MD student report. Daniel will begin with the PhD student report, followed by Artie and Lefty with the MD student report.
There we go. Thank you, and good evening, everyone. As introduced, I am Daniel Earhart, a first-year PhD student. I'll be assisting Jenna to provide you with updates to our Graduate Student Senate. So this is not the last time you will see with me. I hope we can all get to know each other a little better. And so in the interest of time, we'll get right on into it. So first, I wanted to start off with talking about the Future Docs Day. The graduate students were fortunate enough to be able to participate in this event. We hosted a fun volcano experiment that was wildly successful and well appreciated. So we wanted to thank you all very much because many of these supplies were provided through your funding. So we are all incredibly appreciative for this opportunity to participate. So thank you all for those who contributed. Moving on, something that the Graduate Student Senate put together relatively recently was a DEI survey, as well as hosting a town hall focused around addressing graduate student concerns with Wayne State's ongoing commitment to these initiatives in light of recent legislative changes regarding these. And to that end, there was a questionnaire sent out to the graduate students to assess their assessments of Wayne and the resources that they felt that they had access to with regards to DEI initiatives. And so we were pleased to see that there was an overwhelmingly positive sentiment towards Wayne State's commitment to maintaining these resources, as well as the assessment of Wayne State's student and university atmospheres, focusing on promoting these DEI initiatives. One thing, however, that we did also want to note that was the focus around how these larger legislative changes to DEI's commitment, whether at the national level or within some policies based on some decisions and messages sent from the president, was regards to the funding that these students will have surrounding the DEI relations. As we can see, over half of the participants indicating that they were very concerned as to the maintenance of these funding availabilities. And so this was something that the Graduate Student Senate will keep an eye on and continue to survey if these fears then do come to light. Somewhat related to this, there was, as some of you may have known, the Stand Up for Science demonstration that took place last month at the State Capitol building. This was part of a larger national movement at some other institutions. And the Graduate Student Senate was gracious enough to allow our president, Kaylee Hartway, to be a featured speaker at the event. So we were very proud and very pleased that she gave her time to voice concerns on cutting certain medical research institutions like the NIH and HHS. There was also a more local demonstration housed for some of our visa students. So we wanted to make sure that they were also in the talks and able to voice their opinions. We were very glad to be presented with this opportunity because it allowed the Student Senate to affirm that they stand with the DEI initiatives and stand with those students who would be negatively impacted by any cuts to those. Completely shifting gears now, the Department of Translational Neuroscience is halfway through their seminar series on the Drug and Alcohol Research Network. They have been hosting a mini series talking about the various multifaceted impacts of opioids based around both clinical, personal, and interpersonal social aspects. The next seminar talk will be coming up next 2 Thursdays from now, given by Dr. Shane Perrine, focusing on opioid use during pregnancy with focusing around clinical impacts. And then our final seminar talk to wrap up the series will be happening in May. And both of these talks will be given at the Toland Park Research Building in the second floor conference room, third Thursday of the month at 1 p.m. if any of you are interested in attending. Another seminar series that the Graduate Student Senate has been working on sending out to our students is focused around career development. We just last week had a more industry entrepreneurial focused speakers from both a healthcare consultant and an entrepreneur who started his own biotech company. Within 2 weeks, we are also going to be having a more academia associated talk given by 2 Wayne State professors, both the Dean of the College of Pharmacy as well as the Chair of Department Healthcare Sciences. So we are very grateful that they will give their time and explain their journeys and career developments through academia. We just wanted to highlight the multiple angles that our graduate students could consider when they're beginning to wrap up their times. And based on the feedback we received, these have been going very well. Another event that I wanted to highlight is the Empower Sci Detroit field trip. This will be going on at the end of April. This is where we will be bringing students from the Detroit Public School System here to Wayne State. Again, very similar to the Future Docs Day, just to highlight some experiments, get them hands-on experience, as well as to give them a tour of some facilities. This year, we'll be giving them a tour of the Kamanos Cancer Institute, followed by a lunch-in with multiple undergrads and graduate students, and even some medical and postdoc students, just to allow them to pick their brains, and very similar to the seminars, get some ideas on their stories, their paths, to really help give these high schoolers some direction. This year, we'll be taking the AP biology students from Detroit Central High School. I believe this is the same school we pulled from last year as well, and received some very positive comments from that group. Importantly, one of the major takeaways was that they felt like inspired scientists and they were really getting some understanding on what being a scientist meant. And perhaps even more importantly, they learned something useful for those AP exams. So don't miss those. And then finally, to wrap up some upcoming activities that we have planned and are still in the works. We have our Rest and Relax event for our graduate students to celebrate the end of the semester before heading into the summer grind. So that will be happening near the end of April and early May. We are also continuing to work with Diane on setting up the PhD Alumni Mentorship Program. So thank you very much for your continued support along with the rest of the Alumni Association. Hopefully we'll have more to touch on next time, but our talks are still in the works. We'll also be hosting a first year check-in with more senior students from the graduate programs to sit down and talk with our first years who are just wrapping up the first period of their didactics. So they'll be settling down with labs and getting some directions for their thesis projects. So just meeting with them to make sure that they're hitting those check marks and that they're getting ready for their next stages in their graduate careers. And the last event that I wanted to highlight is Wayne State's participation in the nationwide Kill the Cuts rally. This is very similar to the previous one that occurred at the state capitol building, protesting some budget cuts to larger federal institutions. This will be happening on the medical campus behind Marzick on the 8th. So if any of you want to spread the word, all are welcome certainly to show up and voice their opinions on these important matters. So with that, that is enough talking on my end. Again, I really just wanted to take this time to say thank you all very much for your continued support. A lot of what we do couldn't have done without your assistance. And so on behalf of the entire graduate students, we are all incredibly appreciative of what you've done for us. So thank you very much.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
My name's Arthi. This is Lefty, and we are your new matched future doctors.
Yeah.
Okay. This is us. We both matched. I matched obstetrics and gynecology at the University of Illinois, Chicago.
Then I matched orthopedic surgery just up the road at Henry Ford Providence. So
Okay. Yes,
sticking around. And now that match day's over and it's April, it's like that magical time of the year when we have 600 M4s on campus instead of our normal 300 class.
It was fun video.
Good morning and welcome to Match Day 2025. And here we are, almost 4 years later, celebrating your momentous achievement together. This match day, your match day. We are very thankful for the providential and unbroken 9-year track record of over 98% match class outcomes in an increasingly competitive and complex environment.
So here's to our future and the amazing doctors we're becoming and the endless possibilities of our future. So cheers, everybody. I matched anesthesiology at Detroit Medical Center.
I matched at University of Colorado.
We matched together.
I matched radiology at Henry Ford, Detroit, Michigan.
About Wayne State is absolutely the people.
The hands-on training and just how confident and skilled the preceptors are.
On top of that, The career mentorship that they gave us really was phenomenal. I am so grateful. I could not be here without them. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
And I feel like, whenever I needed help or support, they were always there for me. The clinical experience here at Wayne State is unparalleled to any program in the country.
That's the top value of Wayne State. We have a family that supports us. We have service back to the community. There's a lot of emphasis on advocating for our patients. There's a lot of emphasis on humanism in medicine. And so all of these together really create well-rounded and well-prepared doctors for the future.
The most important thing about Wayne State and this community is that we're always looking out for each other. I had several faculty, students, mentors reaching out to me, rooting for me, and because of them, I am where I am today. I'm so grateful to be a Warrior MD. Yay! Yeah, so the match, statistics PowerPoint is very impressive, but I think the energy in that room is truly something else. I have been to all 4 match days. I was a volunteer for the last 3. Obviously, I'm biased. This was my favorite one. But yeah, no one really prepares you for how anxiety-inducing it really is. When Dr. K was just doing his presentation, I was having flashbacks to like 10 minutes before we opened our envelopes, and my heart rate was like 130, and I'm like, wait, I know where I'm going, and I'm really happy about it. Like, it's okay. But yeah, it was just such a special day, and Student Affairs really put together such an amazing event for us. So we are very, very grateful.
Almost just as impressively, Dr. K cut down his entire presentation to about 40 seconds because I think it was like 11:57 by the time we got up there.
Yeah, if you guys saw us doing the toast up there, I'm pretty sure the countdown has already started going. By the time I sat down in my seat, I was already opening my envelope and I totally blacked out. And I knew I had a GoPro on me and I still got up and like was screaming and jumping up and down out of frame. So yeah, it was a great day though. Great. Oh. Okay, sorry. So yeah, 99.4% match. These are just a few of our really amazing classmates and all the fun places that they are going. A lot of our senators are also in here. So green shirt right here. This is Elise. She has been our learning community's House representative for the last 4 years. So she's done a lot of the things like our annual gala. She planned the Warrior Olympics, some really, really fun events here at the School of Medicine. And she is going to University of Cincinnati for OBGYN. And then I'm trying to find, oh yeah. Obviously Madeline Simone, Dr. Simone's daughter is here as well. I also have another photo. I just threw this in here because I got great photos with everyone. My parents literally loved meeting Dr. Simone and also loved his speech. So we got a group photo here. And then me and Madeline are both going to UIC, which is super exciting and fun. And so, yeah, we are really excited.
And then while we're on our way out and getting ready to start learning how to practice as full physicians, the current M3s had their clinician investiture ceremony just last Friday. This is an event where they are kind of formally welcomed into the clinical portion of their training, and they get to mingle with some of the faculty and their classmates and enjoy some nice food and some good times together before starting the grind of M3 for the first time. And this was touched on a little bit already, but Future Docs also took place back in March, hopefully inspiring the next generation of physicians and scientists. And, it's from the sounds of the volcano experiment, it sounds like it went really well. So thank you to everybody who was involved in that.
Yeah, it's also very cute when a lot of our classmates who are now graduating had previously come to the event as the Future Docs. And so it was really exciting for them to also be there as volunteers and kind of give back to their younger selves. And just a few things that are coming up. We have our annual Lampoon Comedy Show. Some of you guys might remember this from when you were in medical school, but Escalapians hosts a comedy show where we kind of poke fun at some of our medical school faculty and just the medical school experience being at Wayne. And so that show is coming up on April 26th and will be very exciting. We also have commencement, which is May 8th. And so that's when we will be officially doctors, which is crazy. And the class of 2029 is going to be joining us in July, like Dr. Hale mentioned, and we're very excited for them, though we will not be here, so. And that is it. Thank you guys so much. I just wanted to say especially thank you. I've been here as an M1, as an MD student representative. This is my last student meeting. I love how Diane said it was my last student meeting and not my last meeting ever, because I'm sure I will be back in some capacity. I am so overwhelmed by the generosity of the alumni. I actually had told Diane probably like 2-3 years ago that I wanted to match in Chicago, and she had set me up with so many alumni and people who were working there. And I'm really grateful that I am matched there and going there. So yeah, I'm just very grateful, and I hope to see some of you guys in the future. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I don't know.
Oh. Congratulations. That video was so awesome. Thank you, you guys. Next up will be development update. Steve Hendry is here to give us an update.
All right, good evening, everybody. In the spirit of keeping this short, here's our numbers as of February 28th. I have today's report though. And just to remind everybody, as I report on these numbers, this is a comprehensive representation of all of our philanthropic activity here in the school. So the appeals that Patrice mentioned, it all feeds into this goal. So every dollar counts. And so I also will encourage everybody to get on board with this. So the university goal, 80 million. And there you see, as of the end of February, today, we are at 35, just over 35.9 million, which 45% of the goal. So reminder, our fiscal year ends September 30th. So we are halfway through our fiscal year now and tracking behind. School of Medicine, as of today, we're just over 9.3 million, which is right around where we were last year, a little behind where we were last year, 44% toward our goal. So we've got some work to do on all fronts, and we've got a great team to do it. But Giving Day, as Lauren mentioned, is going to be important for us this year too. So any help that this group can provide in helping to encourage support will be much appreciated. So with that, any questions regarding philanthropic activity here at the school? All right, short and sweet. Thanks.
See, I'm not even letting Piero introduce me. That's how quick we're gonna be. Yeah, I'm saving a lot of time here. And I know a lot of questions have been asked about this. Well, let me tell you that herding alums is much more dangerous than herding cats. So don't try it. Actually, no, it falls under that no good deed goes unpunished. I was actually shoveling our pond for the girls next door so they could ice skate on it. And this is what happened. So all good. I'm perfectly fine. So, but thank you all for your concern. Just real quickly. So Arthi tried to say this was our last board meeting and Lefty, and there was no way. And I am absolutely convinced when I told you this, we were looking at 2 future presidents of the Alumni Association, right? Now, both of you, Lefty too, you're going to be right behind her. But you've been amazing to work with. Congratulations. And we're so excited to watch what comes next. So thank you. Just quickly, just want to thank you all. $70,000 is amazing from this group. And Lauren, as you can tell, she's got a lot of energy. And she is going to use your 70,000 and leverage it. And I have no doubt we're going to exceed our goal. But thank you. Because we can't, without you, we wouldn't even be close to getting to our goal. So we really appreciate that. Just quick, June 4th, I know a lot of you sometimes forget to put things on your calendars. Put June 4th on right now. That is going to be our board reception. Technically, we have it as a board meeting, but it's going to be a meet and greet. So we're going to thank our board members that are going off the board for their support. And then we're going to welcome our new board members at iridescence. And this year you're going to get to bring a guest. Yep. And so it's a reception, but it also is like food, dinner, drinks. What, Piero? Well, I'm not telling you what guests to bring. Dave and I have already talked about this. You can bring any guest you want, and we won't ask questions. And then I just want to thank, if you look in the packet, you're going to see the winners of the Lifetime of Dedication Scholarship. Those essays were unbelievable. I'm sorry all of you aren't on that committee. There were 70 of them, so you're probably not sorry you weren't on that committee because it took a long time to do this. But honestly, any one of those students could have gotten the award. They were incredible. But just read the 4 that are in there. And you'll see, number 1, the importance of the work you're doing. And number 2, the importance of the money that we raise because, you know, the activities they're doing that are making a difference in the community are funded by the annual fund, 100%. And so without those, the students wouldn't be successful. And you'll see that in these essays, and they're incredibly appreciative of everything you do. So thank you, and thank the committee for doing this. It was a lot of work, trust me, it was a lot of time. The good news was I was at home, so it was much easier, but yeah, thank you. Any questions about anything? I'll make it. Those are the winners. Yes, and they've been notified. Yes, I mean, if you wanted to see the other ones, and we do this without names, so it's completely anonymous, you know, which makes it fair. So any questions about anything? It's from 6 to 8. And I'll send out more information, but I want you to hold it on your calendar because it's just, I mean, if you haven't been to Iridescence, it's at the top of the Motor City Hotel. It's beautiful. Last year it was a night, it turned into a nice night, but it's just gorgeous and it's fun, you know, and we get to say goodbye to people and hello to people, and it's just a good time. So any questions? Pat, do you want to come up now and talk about, okay, great. Yeah, right. Okay, thank you. There's so much.
Good evening, everyone. So I just have to thank Diana for giving me a minute to speak to you all. So I don't know how much of you all know, but I have started a summer program in 2013 for high school. It started with a high school student who came to me, oh, I want to shadow you in the emergency room. And at that time, I really wasn't doing too much clinical work. So I started to set up a shadowing experience with her. And it started with Dr. Carr, residency director for OBGYN. And then it grew and grew and grew. Truthfully, Wayne State is the reason that it grew because I was working with the DEI office and the AHAC because they had programs and they needed a place for students to shadow. And so they kept coming to me and it kept growing. And at this point now, this is the 14th year that I would have done this. I've had over 100 students come through this program. It's called the Medical Mentors Pipeline Program. There is a website that students have created for me. And what it is provides a shadowing experience for students who want to become physicians, not people who are thinking about medicine or maybe I want to be a nurse. This is specifically for people who are interested at the time they apply in becoming a doctor. I have openings for 24 people. I've gone up as much as 28, and I got to tell you, 24 is the sweet spot. Those couple of extra students takes a lot more time and effort. It's 6 weeks. They go through 3 different rotations. And many people in this room, Edelman has had students in his OR. Pat, you've had students with you. Sarkis has always been very helpful getting kids in the ER. They rotate throughout the DMC on Central Campus. So between children's, had kids at RIM, Harper and receiving, and they spend 2 weeks on each rotation. They work. They round 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, from 8 to 4. And on Wednesdays, we have didactics. So for 2 hours, we spend time talking to them about all kinds of stuff. So I usually do a check-in to make sure everything's going okay on the rotation. And then we do didactics on what it takes to get into medical school. We've had admissions committee members come and talk to them. Deborah Holland comes and talk to them about all of the logistics. They get a tour of the medical school one big day and they meet with students. We talk about study skills, preparing for them, you name it. And there is a 2-day mandatory orientation in alignment with the DMC because that's where the rotations are, so that they get infection control training and all kinds of stuff. So long story short, I wanted to sort of start to promote this because the blessing in all of this is that Carmanos has now sort of adopted the program. Now I want to make this clear because of the times in which we live. This is not a DEI program. I just want to say that. I have students, you name it. I remember one year I had 2 doctor's kids and the president of the hospital was like, why do you have doctor's kids in this program? And I said, because doctors' kids need advice too. Just because they are the kid of a doctor doesn't mean they know how to get to medical school. I mean, no offense, I'm just telling you, I've been doing this a long time and you'd be surprised. So, and the other benefit of having such a broad, diverse group of kids, you name it, there's nobody is off limits, except you gotta wanna be a doctor, is that they begin to create relationships that normally wouldn't be created. And they have formed lifelong friendships. Like I had no clue that they still stay connected. They all stay connected with me because I'm very hands-on. Like once they're in the program, they're like my kid, like my real kid. I mean, I get texted every day and I have kids who've been we're in this program 10 years. One I still give them letters, and one of my kids just got accepted to a radiology program, radiation oncology in Indiana. Bria Elrod, I don't know if you know her dad. She was one of my kids in my program. She's going to Henry Ford for OB. So I say all that to say that it is a very, it blesses me every day. It gives me way more than I've ever given it. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew about it so you could promote it. Right now, the application is open. I have a lot of applications because I'm partnering with Carmanos. I never broadcast that we're going to give stipends because I never quite know if I'm going to have money. It varies. I've partnered with a couple of different entities to do that, but Carmanos is going to provide the students with stipends. Last year, they were able to support each student getting $2,000 at the end of the summer. That's to offset the ability for them not to have to work. And so I think we're going to be able to do that again this year. And I'm really in need of some college kids. I never have really had this problem where I didn't have a lot of college kids applying, but for some reason, I got a ton of high schoolers. I think it's because I've been promoting it with the BCAP students because we really are trying to do pathway. So when I look at the applicants, I can see kids who were in Future Docs, that were in the BCAP program. I don't know if you all know about that program, and now they've been in this program, and then so on and so forth. So I just want to make sure that if you guys know of any college kids, I got plenty of high school kids. I don't need any more of those. Because I try to have a diverse group of individuals because they feed each other. But I need some college kids. So the requirement is high school seniors, college first, second, and third years. Application closes on the 15th. And that's the only requirement. I asked for GPA and ACT, SATs, but that does not make or break anything. I just like to know where they're at. So they have to have an essay and they have to have 2 letters of recommendation. If they go online, all of that information is online as well as the portal to get into the application. Any questions?
How do you Google the webpage?
You just, Medical Mentors Pipeline, and actually, because I started this so long ago, who knew? It's one of the top things. Like if you click Medical Mentors, it comes up number 2 in Google. Who knew? The kids, because I didn't really have much support forever, the kids did my website. They really laid the foundation. I've tweaked it a little bit, but they did it and it is phenomenal. I mean, they have testimonials in there and everything. I was like, wow. So yeah. So thank you. And again, if you send me anybody, I guess let me send this out or I can pass this around. And again, anybody you know, please just let them know. Again, the college kids is what I'm. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sounds like an amazing program. Old business, is there any old business that we need to discuss before we adjourn this evening? And is there any new business we want to discuss? Okay, well then, thank you everyone for attending. I'm going to adjourn the meeting, favorite thing. And please be careful driving home, and we'll see everyone at the reunion.
I have just enough.